Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel. Here we're talking about rapidly and radically healing from trauma, from narcissistic abuse cycles, from any lack of authentic power, right? Into our most fulfilling, best lives now, no matter how old you are, no matter what you've been through, right? And I want to explain trauma to you energetically and simply, because a lot of what's going on is just misinformation and confusion, when actually when we understand the simplicity of things, we can actually heal them faster. So I talk about PTSD a lot rather than CPTSD, because putting complex in front of something sometimes adds these layers where we think that we're so burdened and we're so difficult to understand, when basically it's all trauma. Trauma is coming down to one basic thing. That basic thing is disconnection from self. Yeah? We have an event, we have a circumstance, something happens to us. We disconnect from ourselves emotionally, we disconnect from ourselves spiritually, we disconnect from ourselves energetically, and often any kind of, depending on what you've been through, sexually. Yeah? That's what trauma does. It's a strong energetic decision in the body that's saying it's not safe to be fully me. That's why if you can join Sovereign in May, this is the process I take people through to heal this, to come into sovereignty. It's $555, it's an absolute deal. Like 6 modules of complete reclamation of self and soul integration. But here's what you need to know about trauma. At the basic level, that's what's happened to you. Yeah? An event, a circumstance, a situation, an experience that has made you disconnect from self. So there's one solution, and that's reclamation of self and soul. That's it. I talk about the narcissist being detached from their soul and cooperating with an entity of consciousness, which is true. But for people that are victims of these kind of situations, or anyone under trauma, you haven't detached from your soul, you've disconnected. That's a different thing. Detachment from soul means they no longer have empathy, conscience, compassion. They're not operating in their emotional body whatsoever. In fact, they're being cooperative with this consciousness that we're calling narcissism. For people that are victims of it, you might feel you're feeling disconnected. That's the problem. You're not detached from your soul, you're disconnected, and that's a very painful place to be. I've worked with a lot of people through a lot of depression, and the biggest thing with depression is it's a connection issue. That's what depression is. That's when we use substances, they feel connection through substances. They feel connection through bad habits sometimes, or what we like to label bad habits, when they're just strategies to deal with trauma. So your job is to reconnect with yourself and with your soul. And that does start with getting to know ourselves again. Yeah, which again is part of the process in Sovereign, and having values, boundaries and standards around who we are. But after a lot of abuse cycles, or even just don't have to have been through abuse, just not being able to fully be yourself, we have to get to know ourselves. We don't really know who we are. We can struggle to make decisions. We are defined by what's happened to us, our circumstances, and often our diseases, dis-ease in the body. Trauma causes dis-ease. Your body breaks down, right? Your body breaks down. It's a symptom of a root cause of disconnection from self and soul. That's the truth. So degenerative diseases, autoimmune diseases. I've worked with so many different people, and the body responds often as the last resort. So what happens to us is we get, we've been taught to suppress our emotions, but often we'll get emotions, right, and intuitions. And if we don't listen, the body is the last resort. When we're not listening to the messages that are being delivered to us through our intuition and our emotions, which a lot of us have been taught not to do, and in abuse you are trained not to do, then the body is the last resort. The body is the thing that's screaming at you, telling you it's sick. Yeah? Dis-ease. It's the last thing giving you a message that there's something very wrong with the way that you're being. Yeah? It's our being we work on. So reclamation of ourselves, getting to know ourselves, build what I call in Sovereign self-focused, self-partnering and self-sourcing. Self-focused is actually getting back in touch with ourselves. Self-focused first. Yeah? Self-partnering is a bit like self-parenting. It's being your own best friend. It's having your back no matter what. It's when I've given examples before. If I want to leave the grocery store and just put my stuff back on the shelf because Ellie needs to go right now, she goes. I do not beat her up. I do not have a go at her. I don't analyse her. It's not the time for psychoanalysis. That's the problem that's going on. People are analysing things before they're self-focused and self-partnered. Your job is to do those two things first. If you don't, it will result in anxiety a lot of the time. It will result in disconnection, depression, a lot of things. So if you're just analysing why you are doing things, rather than first starting with the relationship with yourself, this is why therapy isn't working for a lot of people. This is why they're numbing out. This is why, because before you can analyse and decide whether you want to keep those behaviours and set new belief systems, which again, I go into in Sovereign, it is worth joining. So 1st of May, I'm not sure when I'll run it again. I've opened this one earlier because people asked for it. So if you want to come in, because it's not like something I can just keep doing on repeat necessarily the way I'm doing it. I'm thinking about how to do things, right? If you're analysing, trying to fix yourself, trying to manifest things, trying to reset belief systems before you've actually self-partnered, self-focused and allowed yourself to heal, it does not work, which is why it's not working for people. So before I fix my anxiety, I've got to integrate my anxiety. I've got to honour my anxiety. Not fix myself, not judge myself, not work out where it came from, not ask myself, what age did I start thinking this? The first thing I've got to do is say, I'm anxious, Ellie's not feeling okay, she's going to fucking leave the grocery store right now. And not beat myself up and make myself some kind of inferior human for it. That's self-focusing, self-partnering, part of what I teach you. Later, the very last thing, when I've gone through the whole thing, the whole process in Sovereign and the whole thing with my clients, is we set belief systems and we set strategies up that actually we can, once we're healed, right, which just means resolved, we're resolved internally, healing is just resolving stuff, then we can look at, now, do I want to keep this? Or not, you know, do I want to actually change my belief systems around this? Because once you're healed, you're energetically resolved, you've let go, then you can create belief systems, foundations, structures that actually support the way you want to live, which can be going out in crowds, going out in grocery stores. I work with a lot of empaths, a lot of highly sensitives, and they get to do everything that they thought they couldn't do. But I know how to work this process differently, right? Trauma is coming down to a strong energetic decision that your body has made to say it's not safe to be you. Yeah? It's a survival thing. It's like the energetic decision is I will not survive if I express my wants, needs and desires. It's not safe to be me. So I've got to adopt strategies like people pleasing, like any kind of self-abandonment basically. But the problem with self-abandonment is it makes you ill. It makes you ill emotionally, it makes you ill spiritually, and it makes you ill physically. So our self-abandonment is the strategies around self-abandonment that we basically adopt due to trauma. Yeah? All coming down to one thing, whether you call it complex, whatever you call it. Yeah? It's all disconnection from self. It's all disassociation from self. It's all self-abandonment on some level. The solution is sovereignty. I'm a sovereign being. Yeah? Self-focusing, self-partnering and self-sourcing. Self-sourcing is I am my own source and co-creation with the divine of love, validation, support, security in my life. I do not outsource those things. Anyone coming into my life is an addition. I'm not looking for them to fill up something that is very core. Very core to the human being is the need for safety, security, validation, love, support. These are human needs. But we have to start self-sourcing them first so that then we can look at everything else. Do I want to add this? But not because I'm missing it. If we don't have a way of regulating ourselves in those things, then we look for unhealthy others to fill those gaps. And then we get in abuse cycles, toxic patterns, and actually, honestly, we kind of shorten our lifespan sometimes because we get sick. We get sick. It's toxic. It's sick, right? And there's not enough awareness on this. So rather than making it complex, understand, sovereign honestly is the solution. If you can get in May, get in May. It is the solution to it, sovereignty. It is the solution to this. It's a way of being that we've been taught to survive. It's encouraged in our society quite a lot of the time. And we've got this major imbalance on the planet where we're seeing this distortion of narcissism coming up, because the only way you can operate in a society that won't allow you to be an emotional being, which is your whole experience of life, is your emotions, is to either detach from your soul and be a narcissist, or get sick, or be authentic and sovereign. You've got three options. And so because people aren't taught the right tools, and there are people that capitalize off this. I have to be honest with you. I've talked a little bit about this, about, you know, the structures of some of our society, not all of it. Not everyone in power is a narcissist. There are beautiful people doing beautiful things, but there are some people that capitalize on your disconnection from self. The three biggest industries on our planet, guess what they are? One, prison. Prison. They know that this disconnection from self causes you to go to jail, and that is a huge industry. Second, pharmaceuticals. It's going to make you take the drugs. And the third is alcohol. That's our three biggest industries. So those industries, they don't particularly want you well. That's the truth, right? But there are many people that do. There are many people doing beautiful things with money on this planet. It's just that we have some hangover from our old paradigm that is designed to keep you sick. And so that narcissism is actually encouraged. Disconnection and self-abandonment is actually encouraged. And the actual truth and what will heal you isn't always shared. It's not those drugs. It's not those things. They know that. You can push it. If you push a human being outside their nature, certain things are thriving in our society that shouldn't be, actually. Because we're supposed to be on this planet to fulfill our potential and do what's right for humanity. We're supposed to explore innovation, creativity. You know, when you're in your sovereignty, you're accessing the divine, you're accessing your creativity, your contribution on this planet, in your community, as a mother, as a father, as a friend, enhances. You're a gift to this world, yeah? And there's there's two things going on. One, misunderstandings on what narcissism is and actually the spiritual war of that. And two, there are very solid structures in our society that are designed to keep you in these kind of cycles, which we are now radically changing, right? So let's just do a little energy healing with you. So one thing we do is this, right? I think Donna Eden, I got this from at the beginning, but that's connecting heaven and earth. And if you're really sick and you're just feeling really down and you really got no energy, whenever I do that and intentionally connect heaven and earth, I get a lot of energy in my hands. I trained, because I was always a psychic, I've always been a channel, I've always had special gifts, but I wanted to enhance them. So I trained in many modalities. I'm a Reiki master, EFT practitioner. I don't use any of them. I've got my own body of work and I do things very fast with people in my world. They heal radically, just because I've got a level of being able to transform people, I guess. I'm a portal for that now. But I consciously opened those gifts. And in Reiki and in a lot of energy work, all you're doing is intentionally channeling energy, right? And that can heal your body, and you can do it too. You just haven't been taught it. So I'm a channel for heaven and earth, right? And if you can do that and see, let me know in the comments, if you can feel your energy, if you can feel the energy connecting, yeah? When you connect heaven and earth, then you are choosing to be a channel for heaven and earth. Right? That you're a channel for heaven on earth. You're connecting the two. And after you've done that, you might just like to sit in that energy, but you can also choose to channel that energy to heal yourself. You can just bring, whenever you channel a high vibration, a lot of the healings I put on this channel and things, I teach you how to gift the collective what you want to receive, right? Because who you are being matters in this world. And when you can, from your heart, gift the world energetically what you also want to receive, you receive your own healing back. Yeah? And it makes you feel amazing, because that's what we're here to do. You're a gift. You're a catalyst. I think Lee Harris said that once, and I love that. You're a gift, you're a catalyst, you're a channel for light in this world, right? You get to choose. And then when you choose, you get to be exploring what you can actually do, which is absolutely heal your own body. Absolutely, that's available to every single person here. You can heal whatever you're going through. Absolutely find yourself in your authentic power and sovereignty. And absolutely create change in this world. We are so much more powerful than we know. That's the biggest illusion on the planet, is that people are not powerful. You are so powerful. All right, my darlings, lots of love. I'll speak to you soon.